I'd like to welcome you back to yet another episode of the budget. Wait a second. This isn't the budget series? That's right, guys. Today's not another episode of the budget series, but we got something really special. Today is the release of the Cyberstrike structure deck, which has been one of the best reprints of the year, Infinite Impermanence, and we get 3 copies for $30. You're basically getting the structure deck for free. I'm not gonna lie, the structure deck has some pretty cool support, especially for the Cyberdarks, which had always been lackluster compared to their Cyberdragon cousins. Or would they be brothers? I don't know, Zane Truesdale used them both, so would they be brothers if he's the father? Oh well. In this structure deck, we're getting some pretty important support. We're getting the Cyberdark End-Dragon, we're getting the Cyberdark Chimera, Cybernetic Horizon, and Cyberdark Realm. The Cybernetic Horizon is just insane. It's a discard from hand, a foolish from deck, an add from deck, and then you can send a monster from your extra deck to the graveyard for free. It's just really good, especially since it allows you to get into your Cyberdark End-Dragon if you're able to bring out the Cyberdarkness Dragon later on. For $30, this deck is actually pretty competent. It'll allow new players to actually maybe top at locals because Cyberdark End-Dragon is such a prohibitive boss monster. It doesn't have Omni negates, it doesn't have negation at all. It's just hard to get rid of, especially since it's unaffected by your opponent's activate effects, which means either they're gonna have to Kaibu you, somehow tribute it off the field, or they're gonna have to beat over a 5k beat stick, or maybe 5600 if you have the attachment Sibern attached. And even if they get rid of that, since you have the attachment Sibern attached, you can bring back Cyberdarkness Dragon, and then reattach the Cyber End Dragon to it and bring back another one next turn? It's just a really recursive, but the only issue is if you do get it tributed off, you're kind of in a bind since you really need something to block the board. I gotta say, after testing out this deck for the last few days with the new support, it's pretty consistent, especially with Cybernetic Horizon being such a good graveyard fueling tool for your power bond. You can get out your Cyberdarkness Dragon super easy, attach a Cyber End Dragon that you tossed off Cybernetic Horizon, and go to your Cyberdark End Dragon, just sit on it and hopefully win off of that, since it's such a hard boss monster to get rid of. I hope you guys enjoy this content, and let's get into the card by card. So to start off the deck lineup, we're going to be running one of the newest pieces of support, which is Cyberdark Chimera. This card is pretty insane, because if it's on the field, what you can do is you can discard one spell or trap from your hand to add a power bond from your deck. And if you do, you can fusion summon using monsters in your graveyard as material. So what you'll often do is you'll have 4 Cyberdarks in the graveyard, then you'll have the Chimera on the field. If you fusion using the power bond, what you'll do is you'll banish the 4 Cyberdarks from your graveyard, send the Cyber Chimera to your graveyard, and then you will be able to summon out the Cyberdarkness Dragon, and then you'll be able to attach the End Dragon that you have in your graveyard to it, and then summon out your Cyberdark End Dragon. Also, if Chimera goes to the graveyard, it's able to Foolish Burial another Cyberdark from your deck, so you can start fueling for more materials. Next off, we're going to run triple Cyberdark Cannon. What Cannon does is, you can discard it to add one machine Cyberdark monster from your deck to your hand. It's pretty good since you're able to add the Cyberdark Chimera, but you can also add like the Edge, you can add the Keel, you can add the Horn if you really want to. It also has a secondary effect. Well, 2 of them. If a monster equipped to this card battles, you can send one monster from your deck to your graveyard. So you can Foolish Burial another monster from your deck to your grave. And then in addition, if this card is sent to the graveyard while it's attached to a monster, you can basically draw one, which is pretty useful. It doesn't come up as often as I'd like, but if you attach it with your Cyberdark End Dragon and somebody actually outs it, then you just get a free draw 1. Next off, we're going to run triple Cyberdark Claw. This is probably the most important out of the 3, since what you can use is, if you use Claw, what you can do is you can add either Cybernetic Horizon, since it's counted as a Cyberdark spell, or you can add the Cyberdark Realm. Oftentimes you'll be adding the Horizon, and then what you can do is you can Foolish using it. But if you have a Horizon in your hand, what you'll do is you'll toss this for the Realm, and then you'll activate Realm, getting yourself a Cannon, and then Cannon to toss itself for the Chimera, and then you'll Horizon the Chimera to get the extra send, and you'll send the attachment Sibern also. It's a pretty useful card. Its secondary effect is during the damage calculation, if a monster equipped with this card battles, you can send one monster from your extra deck to the grave. So if you're running like an Entis in your extra deck, per se, you can actually send an Entis and pop a card on the field. In addition, it says if this card is sent to the graveyard while equipped to a monster, you can target one Cyberdark in your graveyard and add to your hand, which is also pretty useful because you can recycle the Cyberdark Chimera and hopefully get another power bond later. Now, that rounds off one of the main Cyberdark lineup. We're going to be running a triple Cyber Dragon core. Core is pretty standard. It's really good since it allows you to add any cyber spell or trap from your deck to your hand, and it's your best normal summon in the deck since you can actually add a the Cyberdark Realm, or you can add the Cybernetic Horizon. And you can also, if you want to run Cyberload Fusion, you can search out Cyberload Fusion for later plays, since you're going to be banishing a lot of your monsters with either an Overload Fusion or a Power Bond when you do the Cyberdark End Dragon. Now we're going to be getting in a lot of one-ofs, so we're going to run the one Cyberdark Horn, the one Cyberdark Keel, and the one Cyberdark Edge. Unfortunately, these are kind of bricks. You can still send them off the Cybernetic Horizon from your hand, but it's not too great. You just run them for the names, since you can dump them off the Chimera and be able to fuel your graveyard, because you often want to have one of these in your graveyard. Then you'll end up with a Chimera in the graveyard in addition to this, a cannon, and a claw, and then you'll have the Chimera on the field. So that is 5 Cyberdarks, and it'll allow you to go into Cyber Darkness Dragon. They also have the effect, I forgot to mention, that if you normal summon them, you can attach either a cannon or a claw, and then they gain the attack of the cannon or the claw. And if they have special certain things, like Cyberdark Horn says, if this card would be destroyed by battle, you can destroy the equipped monster instead. That's for all the Cyberdarks. But if this monster battles, what you can do is if this card attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing battle damage. That's what Horn does. If this one destroys a monster, it does 300. If this one it can attack directly but does half damage. I don't often use them. It's kind of, if you're in a really bricky situation, you'll just have to use them. It's kind of the downside of the deck since they're kind of bricks. Next off, you're going to run one attachment Sibern. This card is one of the new cards that came out in the structure deck. It's very, very good because what it does is you can target one Dragon Machine Cyber monster you control and equip it from your hand or field to it. While this card isn't an equipped card, the equipped monster gains 600 attack. And if this card is sent to your graveyard while equipped to a monster, you can target one other Dragon or Machine Cyber monster in your graveyard and special summon it. You can only use this effect of attachment Cyber once per turn. It's very strong because what you'll do is if you do send the attachment Sibern and the Chimera off of Cybernetic Horizon, at the end of the turn when you actually have your Cyberdark End Dragon, you'll attach the attachment Sibern, and if you actually have the new Cyberdark Trap, you can pop your attachment Sibern to pop one of their cards, and then you can actually bring back your Cyber Darkness Dragon and then attach another Cyber End Dragon to it and go into another Cyberdark End Dragon the next turn. It has a lot of combo potential, especially during your turn, because you can also do the same exact thing with the trap since you have it on the field. Now, I know we said this was a Cyber Dragon and a Cyberdark deck, but we're only going to be running one Naxter, one Hers, and one Cyber Dragon. Sometimes you will use your Cybernetic Horizon to send the Hers, which will get you the Cyber Dragon, and sometimes you want to search the Naxter off of your Cyber Emergency, because it turns out that your Cyberdark Chimera actually has 2100 defense. So Cyber Dragon Naxter can actually special summon it back from the graveyard, which is pretty useful if you have an extra power bond in your deck. I'd say it's pretty good. I'd run more if we were playing the XZ package, but because this is just a $30 structure deck, we're not going to be having Nova and we're not going to be having Infinity, so this is why I have the ratios a little bit lower. So that rounds off our monster lineup for the deck. I think it's in like 15 monsters or so, but more often than not, your spells will be able to get you to your core, get you to your Cyberdarks that you need, which is pretty good, in all honesty. So to start off the spell lineup, we're gonna run triple Cyberdark Realm. This is one of the new cards from the structure deck. It's very strong in that when you activate it for the first time, so when you put it down on the field, you're allowed to add any Cyberdark monster from your deck to your hand with a differing name from the Cyberdarks in the graveyard. So unfortunately, if you have a Chimera in the graveyard, you can't search a Chimera. If you have a Cannon in the graveyard, you can't search Cannon. And if you have a Claw in the graveyard, you can't search Claw. So you usually want to kind of use this to start. And if you use this to add like a Claw, what you can do is then activate Claw, search out a Cybernetic Horizon, activate Horizon's effect, toss something from your hand, toss something from your deck, then add the Chimera and extra normal summon it using the Cyberdark Realm, because you can activate this card once per turn. And mind you, it's not hard once per turn, the summoning effect to normal summon. You're allowed to extra normal summon a Cyberdark monster, and usually you'll extra summon the Cyberdark Chimera and then go into your Power Bond and fuse from there. Pretty good card overall. In addition, I forgot to mention, this actually allows you, if you have a Cyberdark monster, so if you have like a Keel, an Edge, or a Horn, and you normal summon it, you can actually attach monsters from your opponent's graveyards to it instead, because that's what Cyberdark Realm allows. Next off, we're going to be running a triple Cybernetic Horizon. This card is insane. It's a discard from hand, a Foolish Burial from the deck, then you get a Foolish from the extra deck, which you're going to send the Cyber End Dragon, and then you're allowed to add any Cyber monster from your deck to your hand. So basically, it's very similar to a... It's like a better and spell version of a Unizombie, to say the least. It gets a lot of pluses, especially if you like send a Hers, you can add a Cyber Dragon. Or if you send a Chimera, you're allowed to send another Cyberdark and fill your graveyard. And then you can add another Chimera to your hand, activate Cyberdark Realm, and then normal summon the Chimera, and then activate its effects. It's pretty good. Next off, we're going to run triple Cyber Emergency. You know what it does? It allows you, when you activate this, it allows you to search a Cyber Dragon monster from your deck to your hand, or a Light Machine monster that cannot be normal summoned or set. We're not running Jizukiru in this deck, which you could... I think you can search off Cyber Emergency. I might be wrong. But you could also search off like a Galaxy Soldier from this. I'm pretty sure this is what they use Cyber Emergency for. But we're not running those in the deck since it's the structure deck. Usually what you'll do is you'll activate Cyber Emergency searching your core, because you want the core to search out your Cyberdark Realm or Cybernetic Horizon. Next, we're going to be running 2 Overload Fusions. I've seen this come up more often than not. It's an amazing top deck to OTK your opponent. Like, let's say that you blow your whole entire hand. This is probably one of your best top decks, because you can just Overload Fusion into a Chimera Tech Rampage and then just kill them for game. And then we have to run double Power Bond. Some people say run 3. I've seen a few deck profiles say run 1, but 1 is just way too perky, unfortunately. What Power Bond says is you can fusion summon 1 machine fusion monster from your extra deck using materials from your hand or field as fusion materials, and it gains attack equal to the original attack. During the end phase, you take the damage of the attack that you gained. So if you summon something that's 2,000 attack, it doubles to 4, and then you take 2 at the end of the turn. The biggest issue with running 1 is that if you draw it, you immediately lose, because you don't have an extra 1 for your Cyberdark Chimera to use. Because if you have Cyberdark Chimera, what you can do is you can normal summon the Cyberdark Chimera. If you have a Power Bond in your hand, you can toss the Power Bond, add the other Power Bond, and then fusion your Cyber Darkness Dragon and be able to plus off of it. In addition, I forgot to mention, because you have the Cyberdark Chimera, it allows you to actually use the Power Bond and banish from the graveyard in addition, which is pretty strong also. That rounds off our whole entire spell lineup. I wasn't a big fan of any of the other Cyberdark spells or the new I think there was one where it allows you to summon back a machine fusion from your graveyard without ignoring its summoning conditions, but it gets destroyed during the end phase. It wasn't that great. It's not consistent at all. So let's get into the trap lineup. And this is probably going to be one of the better things in the deck. First off, we're going to run double Cyberdark Invasion. This trap card is a continuous trap, so you can activate it every turn, but you can only activate one of the effects once per turn. It's pretty insane in this deck. What it says is once per turn you can activate one of these effects. The first effect is target one Cyberdark effect monster you control and equip one dragon or machine monster from either graveyard to it as an equipped spell that gives it 1,000 attack, which is really good. So if you're playing against a machine or a dragon deck, you can actually steal them from their graveyard and interrupt their plays. In addition, you get 1,000 attack for it. But the best part of this is the second effect. The second effect says send one equipped card you control equipped to a machine monster in your send one equipped card you control equipped to a machine monster to the graveyard, so you get to send one of your equips on like your Cyber End Dragon. Then you destroy one card your opponent controls. Pretty crazy, because what you would do is if you have an attachment Sibern attached to your Cyber End Dragon or your Cyberdark End Dragon, what you'll do is you'll pop the attachment Sibern, you'll pop one of their cards, and then the attachment Cybern's effect will go off. You'll be able to summon back Cyber Darkness Dragon from your graveyard, attach Cyber End Dragon to it, and you have another negation for the rest of the turn, which is pretty good. Also, I forgot to mention, these are searchable with Cyberdark Claw. So if you have a Cybernetic Horizon and a way to the Cyberdark World in your hand, then you don't actually need to search it with the Claw. You can just search the Cyberdark Invasion for follow-up. Next off, we're going to run triple Paleozoic Canadia. Who would have thought that Book of Moon in the Trap was so good? What it does is you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls and then change it to face-down defense position. And once per chain, when a trap card is activated when this card's in our graveyard, we can special summon it in either attack or defense, and its attack is 1200 and defense is 0. And this card isn't considered a trap. But if it's summoned this way, it's unaffected by monster effects, but is also banishes from the field when it leaves the field, unfortunately. It's strong. It's really good for certain monsters. If you Paleozoic Canadia certain like a tuner and they don't have any more tuners on their field, they're not gonna be able to synchro summon. They also can't link summon with face downs. They can't XZs with face downs. So if you're playing against like a Link and XZ or synchro deck, you're in good shape. It doesn't really do much against fusion decks, unfortunately, but overall I like this card a lot in the deck. Last off, it's the best card of this deck. You know what it is, we've been waiting for it. The triple infinite impermanence. Oh, I've been waiting so long for this card to get reprinted, and basically getting a structure deck with this in it, it feels so good. This card will carry the structure deck for years. People will just buy the structure deck just for the infinite impermanences, not even for the rest of the cards. You know what it does. If you have no monsters on your field, it's a hand trap and you can negate one of their monster effects. But if you set this card, so oftentimes what you'll want to do is you'll want to set it in the middle column, and then during your opponent's turn, if they summon a monster that you want to negate, you negate it. And then it actually prevents the spells from going off in the middle column for the rest of the turn. And because we're Yu-Gi-Oh players, we psychologically activate all our spells in the middle column. And if we don't pay attention, we lose. That is the benefit of infinite impermanence. Oh, and it looks so good in Super. The only issue is the printing issues that we've been having, where we have foiling on the edges showing and whatnot, but it hurts to see it. But it feels so good. I'm not an advocate for hand traps. Y'all know that. I don't think that they're fun in the game, but being able to get it just makes me want to cry. So that rounds off our whole entire main deck. It's 40 cards. You know, standard. You kind of want to have it 40 cards for consistency. I wouldn't boost up anything else. So let's get into the extra deck. And this is going to be the most simple extra deck because you just use every single fusion monster from the structure deck. You're going to run the triple Cyber Darkness Dragon. You'll be summoning this off your power bond most of the time. What it requires is 5 Cyberdark effect monsters. And mind you, they can be the same one, so it can be like a double Chimera or double Edge or double Keel or whatever. And what you'll do is you'll summon the Cyber Darkness Dragon, and then you'll attach the Cyber End Dragon you send off Cybernetic Horizon, and then you can go into your boss monster deck, which is Cyberdark End Dragon. And Cyberdark End Dragon is pretty good because it must either be fusion summoned using a Cyberdark Dragon and a Cyber End Dragon, which oftentimes you won't. Like, I've never done it in the testing. The way you cheat it out is you have a level 10 or I believe lower, yeah, level 10 or lower Cyberdark fusion monster equipped with a Cyber End Dragon, and then you tribute it and you can summon out the Cyberdark End Dragon. And I'm pretty sure it's considered a proper fusion summon if you do that. What it says is unaffected by your opponent's activated effects, and once per turn you can equip one monster from either graveyard to this card. This card can attack a number of times each battle phase up to the number of equipped cards equipped to it. I was having some ruling issues with this. If it has nothing equipped to it, I'm pretty sure it can still attack, but if it has one card equipped, it can only attack once. So having no material and having one material is no different. But yeah, we run the triple Cyberdark End Dragon. Then we run the triple Cyberdark Dragon. I actually haven't summoned it out once, because having the horn, the edge, and the keel, since we only run one of them in the deck, you'll usually banish it off your power bond for the Cyber Darkness Dragons, so I'm just putting these in here as a placeholder. Then we're going to be running the triple Chimera Tech Over Dragon, which is your OTK potential for the deck, since what you can do is, if you, let's say you have a bunch of monsters in the graveyard, and you draw an Overload Fusion, then what you can do is you can go into your Chimera Tech Over Dragon, and then you can banish all the machine monsters in your graveyard, including a Cyber Dragon, and this monster gains attack times 800 for all the materials used, and it can attack a number of times up to the amount of fusion materials you used. So let's say you use 10 fusion materials, you can attack 10 times, and it's at 8k. It's really strong for OTK. The only issue that I have with it is that it can't attack directly. You can only attack the monsters multiple times. So if you summon out Chimera Tech Over Dragon, and let's say they have one monster on the field, you can attack it, but you can't attack again. So what you'll want to do is you'll want to get another monster out to destroy that one monster, and then you can attack directly with Chimera Tech Over Dragon per game. And to finish off our extra deck lineup, we're going to be running the triple Cyber End Dragon. It's the boss monster of the deck that we don't summon because we don't have enough Cyber Dragon. I haven't summoned it yet, but maybe in the future I will if I play more of a machine dupe variant. But you just send this off of the Cybernetic Horizon to make your Cyberdark End Dragon. Besides that, that's the whole entire deck. I'm actually going to move into some combos, and I hope you guys all enjoy that. So we're going to start off with like a 3-card combo. This combo can be achieved if you have a Cyberdark Chimera, and then any way to get into your Cyberdark Realm. Usually you'll normal summon Core to get into Realm, so let's do this. So first off, we're going to normal summon Core. After we normal summon Core, we're going to add a Cyberdark Realm from our deck to our hand. Then what we're going to do is we're going to activate Cyberdark Realm, and we're going to add a Cyberdark Claw. After we add Claw, we're going to activate Claw's effect, tossing it to the graveyard, and we're going to add a Cybernetic Horizon. Then we're going to activate a Cybernetic Horizon, tossing our Chimera from the deck, from our hand to the graveyard, sending a attachment Sibern, and then because we sent Chimera from the deck to the graveyard, we can actually send an Edge in addition. Now, this we also get to send a Cyber End Dragon because we use Horizon, and now we get to add from our deck to our hand. What we're going to add from our deck to our hand is we're going to add a Cyberdark Cannon. We're going to activate Cannon's effect to add another Cyberdark Chimera to our hand, and then we're going to activate Cyberdark. We're going to activate the Cyberdark Realm, extra normal summon the Chimera, and then we're going to be able to activate its effect, tossing our spell or trap to the graveyard to add a Power Bond. Now that we added Power Bond, what we can do is we can activate Power Bond. We're going to banish the Cyberdark Cannon. We're going to banish the Cyberdark Claw. We're going to banish the Cyberdark Chimera, and we're going to banish the Cyberdark Edge from our graveyard. And then we're going to actually send the Cyberdark Chimera to the graveyard. And we're going to summon out the Cyberdarkness Dragon. Now that we summoned out Cyber Darkness Dragon, we're able to attach the Cyber End Dragon to it. And then once that's attached, we're actually able to tribute it because we have a level 10 or lower Cyberdark attached with a Cyber End Dragon to go into Cyberdark End Dragon. And now because we have the Cyberdark End Dragon out, we can activate its effect, and we can attach the attachment Sibern from our graveyard to it. And what happens is if somebody tries to blow up our back row, or let's say they get rid of the Cyberdark End Dragon, what we can do is when attachment Sibern goes to the graveyard, you can summon out Cyber Darkness Dragon, and you can actually attach Cyber End Dragon to it again. Because this was properly fusion summoned the first time, you're allowed to bring it back. That's one of the main staple combos. That's how you actually get out your Cyberdark End Dragon. So let's say that we had 5 cards in our hand, and one of them was Cyberdark Invasion. So let's say we have Cyberdark Invasion in our hand. What we would have done is we would have gone through the same combo. We would have ended off on the Cyberdark End Dragon with the attachment Sibern, and then we would set the Cyberdark Invasion. On our opponent's turn, what we would do is if they have a monster, like let's say they summon out Vert, like Verte and Akana, what we would do is we would activate Cyberdark Invasion, we would send our attachment Sibern to the graveyard, and then we pop one of their cards. Once we pop one of those cards and it resolves, we can activate attachment Sibern's effect, and we're going to summon back our Cyber Darkness Dragon and then attach the Cyber End Dragon to it. And what Cyber Darkness Dragon says is once per turn, when your opponent activates a card or effect, quick effect, you can send one equipped card you control to the graveyard, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that card. And mind you, it's not a once per turn, so the more materials you get on this from the trap, the more negates you get. That's one of the main combos, and I'd say that's the most powerful combo that the deck can actually achieve. There's other ways to get into it, but I'd say that the Chimera plus the Realm, or the Chimera plus the Horizon would allow you to get into it, or just any way into one of those two. So you basically have around like 9 starters, but with 2 card combos. But mind you always kind of need a trap or a spell left in your hand, which is kind of the downside of the Cyberdark Chimera, since you need to toss to get the power bond. Besides that, I'd say that this board is pretty hard to get over, especially since your Cyber Darkness Dragon is now 6k because the Cyber End Dragon's 4k, and this is still 5k and is unaffected by your opponent's activate effects. The one major downside that I have is the fact that we still leave core on the field, so if they can hit you with something that's bigger than 7600, you lose. Not 7600, something bigger than 8400, you lose. Which maybe what you could do is throw in a single Solomon Great Almond Raj, and then set this off, like link it off for like an Almond Raj, and let's say this is Almond Raj, and then you would just have protection from card effects for your Cyber Darkness Dragon for when it comes back. It's pretty good. I'd say that this board can actually win you a game just alone. I hope you all enjoyed this combo, and I hope you guys have a great week. Until next time.